Hello there folks, and welcome back to another video. This one is a little bit of a ooh, this has come out, that's nice. I like those kind of videos. So we have been talking recently about what's going to be coming up for Warhammer Age of Sigmar. You will have seen a couple of videos I've done recently about some rumours and all that kind of good stuff. And because Games Workshop just don't seem to be stopping with the reveals, we got a look at the brand new miniatures that are coming to the Daughters of Khaine for Warhammer Age of Sigmar, alongside a little bit about the battletome and a new Army of Renown and Regiment of Renown for you to use in the game as well, which is pretty awesome. So we're going to be kicking things off with the brand new miniatures, which are the Blood Hags. So let's have a look at these ones. As the fighting elite of the Khainite war cults, Blood Hags occupy an enviable position. Alongside the mobile shrines and sacrificial altars that the Daughters of Khaine carry into battle, they scythe down massed enemy forces like wheat with their two-pronged Valthrai polearms, and have perfected their aim with hurled Kiraish blades, such that they can wipe out an entire front rank before they even make it into bloody combat. I gotta say, these are looking pretty damn awesome. I love that they are distinctly Daughters of Khaine, whilst also being a little bit new and a little bit different. They have all the same elements to them: the big flowing hair, the face masks, the crowns, the armor style is very similar, but then they've also got with slightly more full body suits as well, and I kind of think that really fits the idea of them being sort of guardians of a shrine, rather than the sort of like rank and file that you get. So it kind of elevates them in terms of their sort of elite nature within the Daughters of Khaine army. And it makes sense as well. You can still have all the women prancing around, sort of barely clothed, basically, I suppose, that sort of Daughters of Khaine aesthetic. But if you're going to be the guardian of a shrine, it kind of makes sense that you would be wearing a little bit more armour. And I think these are looking very, very nice indeed. They actually showed off a few of the sort of close-ups of these as well. So that's some of your units there. I love that one. Bringing the sword down over her head to strike at someone. That's really, really cool. I like the design of that. And then the banner bearer with the full face mask on as well is quite nice. A few more of them with those sort of double-handed weapons. One of them throwing that weapon forward too, which is quite cool. Again, nice poses for those. I'd imagine we're going to see duplicate poses for some of these in terms of the way that their legs are formed. And then you sort of just play around with the different weapon options for them, which is quite cool. So how many have we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... 8, 9, 10. So yeah, so 10 is their sort of unit, so you can reinforce them up to 20 maybe. We'll have to wait and see, I suppose. But a really nice looking set of miniatures for your sort of shrine guardians. These Blood Hags. What a cool kit to get people started off with. Let me know what you think about those in the comments. They look very nice indeed. I love that pose in particular. I kind of want just that to like represent the character in AOS Soulbound. I think that'd be really badass. Very nice indeed. We also have some more about what they defend. So I was talking about the fact that they are kind of like shrine defenders and things like that. And so in this, we also got to see the Shrine of Dark Tribute. So this is a sort of magical artifact that you'll place within your collection, and it's sort of like their big new centerpiece for you to use in your games. It's got some nice features to it as well. So as you can see here, that's a version of it that is a little bit more dedicated to Morathi-Khaine than Morathi-Khaine, which is quite interesting. Similar design, they've just sort of changed this bit of it, it seems like. You still have that sort of blood pool there, which is quite cool. So yes, what can it do? Can whip nearby allies into a blood-fueled frenzy that empowers wizards and priests beseeching their goddess for magical might. Very nice indeed. Like the sound of that. You also have the 2 runic markers that go in the top, as you can see there. One for Khaine, one for Morathi-Khaine. So you can go in 2 different ways with this, which is quite nice. So if you're running more of a Crethusa the Crone Seer styled army, that's kind of where you're looking with this one. And it's nice to know that it can be used for those 2 different themes of armies. It's a little bit of a shame, I suppose, that the Blood Hags themselves seem more Khaine focused than Crethusa, sorry. But I guess it depends on how you paint them and sort of what you do with them as well, which is quite cool. This all comes as part of the new battletome. That battletome cover looks very nice. I have really liked all the artwork that they've done for the covers of the battletomes. I don't know who your artists are, because I don't think you ever credit them. But whoever the artists are who've been working on the covers, or just a single artist, I think you've done an absolutely amazing job, and you should be very proud, because you've managed to capture the essence of all the different factions really nicely, I think. And this one's no different. That is very nice and shows off the Blood Hags in all their glory, killing plenty of Skaven, as you would. So yes, these new units are joined in a fully updated roster of war scrolls and battle traits in the new battletome. As with all battletomes, it's absolutely packed with background lore, artwork, and miniature galleries, so you can take your way to the tabletop with a Khainite army. You also get their Holy Blood rites, which have been expanded in the battletome with new battle traits. Now, they've said, you will anoint a chosen hero that empowers the entire army through completing sacred rites. I love armies that have a focus on you kind of doing a cool thing over the course of the game that builds and builds and builds. You kind of get that with the Blades of Khorne. You also got that with the Lumineth Realm Lords and that Army of Renown that we talked about last week, if you want to go and watch that video. So yeah, some really fun stuff in there. No surprises that most of that involves someone dying and passing their unique abilities on to successive champions after death. Love the sound of that. I think that's going to be really nice to see as a full army on the tabletop. You also have some fun stuff. I did say there was an Army of Renown, but it is a Battle Force and a Regiment of Renown and then the Spearhead. So you do have the Battle Force, which you can see here. Very nice one indeed. It contains some of the more unique figures from the Daughters of Khaine. So this feels like it's more of a bolt-on to an existing force rather than a place to start, which you kind of sometimes get that with these Battle Forces. In some cases, they can be very good for someone who's starting out new. In other cases, they're very much, you have the basis of something, maybe the Spearhead that we'll look at in a second. This is a kind of way to add on some extra stuff and give you a slightly more elite element to things, especially with Morathi-Khaine in the middle as well, because she's insane if you've seen any of the games that she's been in on Warhammer Plus. So this contains, as we just said, Morathi-Khaine, alongside 5 Kitharai Heartrenders and 10 Blood Sisters, which can be built in various forms. So some fun stuff there for you to be playing around with. You can see the two different variants of the builds there, so you can either have them with the bows or you can have them with their vulges at the ready. I really like the snake aesthetic to the Daughters of Khaine. I think if I was going to be building an army, it would be very elite and focused on the kind of snake thing. I think that's very cool indeed. We also have a Spearhead. So this is the Khainite Shadow Coven, which looks, again, fairly specialised. So this features, as you can see here, 3 separate heroes to do the Murder God's work. A Bloodwrack Medusa, a Hag Queen, and a Slaughter Queen on the Cauldron of Blood. Whilst you've also got 9 Khainite Shadowstalkers and 10 Sisters of Slaughter to do the rest of the killing. So this is similar to what we've seen in the past, where we have a Warcry warband in the background. They have been added on there as a sort of like an elite element there. And then you have the Medusa and stuff like that in the centre. Very hero heavy, which I think is quite cool. Kind of works with the idea of these champions doing this competing bloodletting rites and things. So that's pretty awesome. And some fun stuff there. I gotta say, some of the Daughters of Khaine stuff is super cool. I love a lot of the newer sculpts they did for them over the last couple of editions. They've really kind of like leveled up the Daughters of Khaine in quite a few different ways. There's still a few elements of it that I think are from Warhammer the Old World and need to sort of go the way of the dodo. But all in all, I think these are looking really nice. And hopefully it all comes together for a really interesting battle tome for Daughters of Khaine collectors. Very nice indeed. We also then have the Regiment of Renown, which is this one here. So this one's based around the idea of it being a gladiatorial troop. So it comes with the Crimson Lash, you can see here, 10 Sisters of Slaughter and a High Gladiatrix, who can be recruited by the Cities of Sigmar, Fireslayers, Eiseneth Deepkin, Caradron Overlords, Lumineth Realm Lords, Seraphon, Stormcast Eternals, and the Sylvaneth. Very nice indeed. And again, I think this was one of the models that they came out with. Was it last edition, I think, potentially for that one? And I kind of like it. I just wish it had a little bit more movement, like the rest of the models that you see there. That is also going to be a pain in the ass for you to glue together. I don't doubt. And I think the entire army is effectively an advert for magnetizing them and sticking them in a really useful box with some War Mag stuff, because otherwise you're screwed, I think. They're all going to fall apart if you try and put them in foam or in bubble wrap or whatever. But yeah, so that's the Regiment of Renown that's coming alongside it as well. It'll be nice to see what else they do for the Daughters of Khaine, but I love that this stuff is coming thick and fast now. And I believe they've said that all the battle tomes are going to be out by the end of the year. Really wild, the Daughters of Khaine have come out of left field and got a preview when we've got things like the Fire Slayers and the Ogres and things like that. But I would guess they're going to be coming out as part of the preview, as part of Adepticon at the end of March. So watch this space. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you like the new look of these Blood Hags for the Daughters of Khaine? Are they going to entice you to start putting together a fun army of elite bloodletters for you to use on the tabletop, or are you still not sold on them as a faction? I know a lot of people want a Malarion army. I want it too. It'd be really cool to see what they do with the Shadow Elves, but up until now, this is what we've got. So yeah, it's nice to see that it wasn't just another hero, and it was actually a full elite unit of armored badasses. Super cool. And I look forward to going through the Battletome with you in one of my videos when it comes out. If you've not seen it before, I do Battletome review things, but I kind of twist it in the fact that I go through 5 things that I love and a few other bits and pieces as well. So it's a nice look at the lore behind a Battletome rather than just looking at the stats and things like that. There are plenty of people who do that way better than I could, and go and watch them instead. But yeah, tell me what you think in the comments down below. Like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Remember, there are memberships. There is a Ko-fi link. There are affiliate links for War Games Atlantic and Firestorm Games as well. So if there's something you want to pick up, something you want to buy, maybe go and check out those links and tell me what you think. But yes, I love getting into the conversation with you folks down in the comments. So please dive in and let me know what you think. I'm going to move on to another video. Like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. And I'll see you very, very soon indeed. So yes, bye for now.